Now it's time to code the bad guy. Let's take a really quick look at the game and see how the bad guy moves so we can talk about what we're looking at. Okay, he's doing a couple things. What do you see him doing? What does the bad guy do? How does he move? Do you see him turning? Do you see him moving steps randomly? He moves a certain number of steps when he turns sometimes. And what happens to him when he gets to the edge of the screen? Do you notice? Does he ever go off the screen? Well, he doesn't because he bounces when he's on the edge. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to program him to turn randomly. He's going to move a certain number of steps. And if he's on the edge of the stage, he's going to bounce. I'll show you really quickly where we're going. We're going to grab a couple of blue motion blocks, the turn block and the move block, and if on edge, bounce block. So let's focus on those first. All right, we're in the motion blocks. Oh, but you know what we haven't done? We haven't gotten a new sprite for our bad guy. Right now we're on the good guy sprite. So let's go to the bad guy sprite by choosing sprite from library. And I'm going to use the crab sprite. So I click on him and I can double click him. And now I am selected. You want to make sure you're selected on your crab sprite. See how he has no code yet? That's because we haven't coded him yet. If we click over to the starfish, we see his code. It's still there. But we're programming crab now. Okay, so like I said, we want to have 3 different motion blocks. We want the turn block. So we want a turn block, a certain number of degrees. We want the move block. We want the move certain number of steps block. And we want the if on edge bounce block so that he doesn't go off the screen. We want him to stay on the screen so that it's sort of a challenge for our good guy to stay away from our bad guy. So these are the 3 blocks we want, and we can go ahead and connect them together. I think we can connect them together at this point. But we want to shake things up a little bit. To shake things up, we're going to go to the operators blocks because this will allow us to do some random things. We want him to be a little bit random for us to not totally know where he's going to be. So let's pull out a couple of pick random blocks and set them out here. All right, so we can actually put these green random blocks inside of these into these number fields here. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to put this, you have to kind of hover it right over you have to hover it over that 15 and see how it starts to glow, and now it can go inside. And I'm going to do the same thing for the moving steps. So you have to kind of hover kind of like this, and then it'll go inside. And what we want him to do is we want him to turn randomly from 0, which means not turning at all, to 360 degrees. And when you talk about turning and degrees of rotation, a circle has 360 degrees in it. Here's the number 360. It goes from 0 to 360. So when he's moving randomly, that means he can be turning any of these numbers, okay, in terms of degrees of rotation. So just remember, a circle is sort of measured by 360 degrees in the circle, and random movement around a circle means that he could be at any of these numbers. That makes him a more exciting bad guy. Okay, so we've got pick random 0 to 360, and then we want him to move randomly, what do we think? How about 10 to 50 steps? You can play with this if you want. You can try different numbers, but it should be some range. If you make him move like 10 to 80, then he's going to be scarier. If you make him move like 10 to 15, he's not going to move as much. So kind of play with it and see what you think. Okay, so we want to make him, let's see what happens right now if we click the stack. Okay, it did it one time. So what we want to do is we want to go to Control, and we want to make him do it forever. And so he's going to keep doing it over and over again. As he runs through these 3 scripts, then it starts back over to the top, and it keeps going on and on. So let's double click it now and see what happens. Okay, see how fast and spastic he is? I want to add something, and I want you to add it too, and you can decide if you want to keep it. We're going to add a wait, a certain number of seconds between each time he goes through these 3 script blocks. So let's add the wait a certain number of seconds block. It's right here. We're going to slide it in here. Okay, so now he's waiting 1 second after each time he runs through these 3 scripts. I'm going to change that number to 0.2. That's a nice amount of time. And that's what I recommend, but you can try different numbers if you want and see how that works, or you can even remove it if you want. You don't have to have it, but you can certainly keep it in there. One last thing. We want to use the events block so that when the green flag is clicked, this starts the script. So basically, when this green flag is clicked, the bad guy starts moving and the game is started. And you want him to keep moving the whole time.